Chief, obviously the best thing happened out of all of this situation that unfolded yesterday. Mm-hmm. How real was the threat?
I think it's as real as you can get. I don't say this with any hyperbole, but I do believe this is something that would have been carried out had they had the opportunity.
Talk to us more about what has unfolded, what you're allowed to share with us.
Right, and I want to be careful on some of the details, but let me just start off by saying we have a very close relationship with the FBI, part of a task force specifically designed to deal with these type of threats. And over the past year that we've been part of this, we've gotten to know them very well. I'd say a first name basis with the agents that we deal with. And so when I got the call from one of the agents, I knew right away by the tone of its voice that this was serious, that we need to take immediate action. And that's part of our plan, is to take immediate action. Don't sit on anything. If they're bringing something to our attention, then it's something that needs to be acted upon right away. And so that's what we did. Once he provided me the information and he made it very clear that it was a legitimate threat, and located the student, found out exactly where she was, and were able to basically take her into custody, take custody of her cell phone and her bag and so forth, and begin the interview process. So the information that we were provided had very specific details as to what the plan was. It didn't have any dates per se, but there was some information there that alluded to a future date. And of course we found that out after the fact, after we began the interview. So these were much more than just general threats of shooting a school or something like that. These were very specific tactics that they were going to use, some of which I was quite surprised at the detail and some of the knowledge that they had of police tactics. So a little surprising in that regard.
You mentioned knowledge of police tactic. It also appears that they had knowledge of possibly bomb making.
Right. There was discussion of making them. Didn't say obviously how to make them or so forth, but there was definitely some comments and discussion of pipe bombs and so forth. So yeah, again, it was a very elaborate, alluded to Columbine and some of the things that those two killers had carried out. So again, it was very specific, and we took it very serious.
And were these threats made online, or obviously it's part of the FBI investigation, but yeah, I guess that's the question. Were these threats made online and someone saw them and kind of honed in on them?
So they weren't online, they weren't posted. It was through social media, and it was information that the FBI had obtained through their sources. And don't want to disclose that, but let's just suffice it to say that through the FBI sources and the resources they have, they were able to obtain these. They were able to analyze them, and obviously, upon analysis, realize that this is the real deal, and we need to take this serious. So again, this is how the process, this is how this task force is designed to work, and it worked. It was textbook.
This is proof these partnerships work. These partnerships are necessary because this is a success story.
Exactly. Yeah, this is, I joked with one of the FBI's, this is the plane that landed safely. Usually doesn't make the news. We were very grateful at the end of our investigation, our part of it. I'd say our part because Montgomery County was conducting a simultaneous investigation on the other individual. And so we felt confident at that point that we had stopped any future plans, and so we were very comfortable with the situation as far as we didn't believe there was any further threat to Memorial High School or any of the students, certainly none of the students that she was currently in school with. But yeah, this worked exactly as we hoped it would.
And this was a Memorial High School student?
She was assigned to Memorial High School, attending another campus to help get caught up.
Gotcha. And you mentioned Montgomery County. This is a multiple agencies, obviously, right, but also multiple counties involved. Were these two suspects believed to try and just target Memorial High?
That was the plan, at least according to what we reviewed, the information we had, was just It was specific to Memorial High. There was no discussion of any other school, any in Montgomery County or anything like that. Like I said, it was very specific in the layout and so forth of Memorial High School. So I think that, along with other comments, is what led us to believe that it was a very serious situation.
How did you feel when you heard the details?
You know, you read about them usually in after-action reports, or you see them in when you're going over these different events, and you're thinking, wow, why didn't we know ahead of time? Why didn't we know before? We found out before. And that's where I think having that partnership and being able to immediately react to it. There was no delay. We literally had her in custody within 30 minutes of the time that I first got the call. And something that, you know, I stress to the guys is, you know, we have to act as quickly as possible. The FBI, you know, after our discussions, you know, they were very grateful that we were able to act so quickly. But yeah, when you read those things and you go, wow, this is serious, because we've all seen different threats that are benign or they're just generic. They're just as dangerous potentially, but when you see them this specific, yeah, it's like, wow, this is the real deal.
What was the concerning thing about the specificity? Is it because the police tactic that they were referencing, or the layout of the school?
All of it together. And then some of the comments about, you know, just things that they would do to delay or hurt first responders and things like that. So, you know, you start reading that going, okay, this one, well, both, but one in particular had really studied these things. And so you kind of expect that from an older person, but a 16-year-old girl that's got some pretty good planning, if you will. Yeah, that's pretty shocking.
And the other students, were both of these teenagers in Spring Branch ISD, or one at both school districts?
One in each school district.
What was your interaction with this person like?
Well, I spent a lot of time with her, asked her questions during the interview along with the FBI agents, and talked to Mom for quite some time. We were there quite a while. So, you know, it's one of those situations where, you know, you're dealing with a juvenile, and so, you know, you have to abide by certain juvenile justice rules. But yeah, it was I was a little surprised at just how lack of any type of emotion, although she did show some, but there was a lack of it for quite some time, which was kind of surprising.
What happens next? What were the next steps? Have charges been filed against these two?
So against the one here at Spring Branch, charges were filed Tuesday evening. They were filed for terroristic threat, a third-degree felony. She's now in the juvenile justice system, if you will. So what happens from here, that's kind of beyond our control. I will say DA Sean Tier has done his folks have done a great job in coordinating with us and taking the charges. I've been very pleased with them, and just the cooperation and the way we've been able to work together on these things. So we will, you know, continue to follow if we get any new information. Certainly, the Montgomery County case, I'm not sure exactly where they are with it. I will say one of the reasons why we didn't release as a district a statement yesterday was because of the ongoing investigation in Montgomery County. That was a decision I made, and I know some people were upset about that, and I take full responsibility, but I knew that first, their kids were in no danger. And I knew that if we released something, it could potentially jeopardize the Montgomery County investigation, and I simply wasn't willing to do that. You know, as long as there's an ongoing investigation, as was occurring yesterday, then I didn't want to release anything. I know, obviously, a report was released, and we followed that up with our statement. And you know, it was one of those calls on my part, and I'd stand by
it. You said you spoke to the mom. What was her reaction like? Did she have any idea?
So, you know, Mom was, I think the best way to put it is feel for her. I think she's done everything she can do considering her situation. I don't want to get into that. But yeah, I feel for her, and I think it's one of those very sad situations where a parent is doing everything they can, and I do believe that, and the child's just not either accepting or capable of accepting the help that she has been provided for whatever reason.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add that I may have failed to ask?
No, like I said before, I just want to reiterate the gratitude I have for the FBI and the agents that we work with, and just really just proud of the relationship that we built, and just the ability to make a quick phone call and get stuff done. I think speaks volumes of those guys and what they, because I know they are very passionate about this, and you know, this is kind of their brainchild, if you will. Is that the right word? It's kind of their baby that they've come up with a way to get this information out quickly. And when I first heard it, I thought, man, that's interesting. I wonder how it'll work. And then you see it, and you're like, good job, guys. Good job.